So I broke it down to you how I don't believe in gender, right? It seems like I want to get more to the objective truth than you want to get to the objective truth.
Interesting.
I'm saying very simple that there's only two human beings, and that's a man and a woman. The scientific terms is male and female. So I'll just say the question differently. Is a trans woman a male or a female?
Can I ask a question since you asked one already?
I just answered one of your questions there, but first answer this question.
Yes, sir. So is a trans woman a cis woman? Again,
No, that's not what I said. I don't know what all this cis and all these terms, these is new language that's trying to cause confusion, right?
Okay.
So just answer my question. As a trans woman, that's a male that is trying to be a woman, right? My question for you is, that's my understanding of a trans woman. Now, my question for you is that trans woman a male or a female?
Trans woman is a woman. If you're talking about sex, I don't know. I'd have to take a blood sample from that person. I'd have to tell them to take.
Well, that's what I want to know.
Well, that's something that's weird. Why are you focused on people's genitalia and what they are? Can't you just refer to somebody as I'm referring to you as Cooley? I don't need to see your birth certificate. That's just something that we're going to interact on a social level. I don't need to see your penis to know that you're a man. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. Well, now you playing word games saying that it's weird. It's a very simple question, man. I just want to answer to it.
Okay.
So it's the same question that you answered before. And you was trying to say that it's like a cis man or cis woman or something like that, which causes confusion when people from your community likes to try to switch up the definitions of words that we've known these definitions of these words for thousands of years. You were talking about Africa earlier. Well, parts of Africa and parts of these other countries and stuff. No, you go to Africa, they're going to look at you crazy like, boy, a man is a man, a woman is a woman.
Cool.
Anything else, you are satanic. That's what they're going to tell you, brother. And that's going to be in many cultures. So what I'm telling you is, I just want to answer to this. Trans woman, is it a male or a female?
A trans woman is a woman. If you're talking about colloquially, we're going to get caught up on this term cisgender, and you're going to say that I'm trying to cause confusion or whatever.
Sir.
People before Isaac Newton would say that gravity is something that's just made up. What the fuck are you talking? Sorry, didn't mean to curse. I forgot that that's a rule here.
All good, man.
Isaac Newton, people are going to say, what is gravity? That's crazy. You're just making up terms. This guy's talking about voodoo. He's talking about this magic. That's not something that's voodoo. It's we understand things through fields of study. So if we're talking about cisgender being a
maybe let me know if you agree with this then. Is a trans woman a male with an XY chromosome that has transitioned to a woman, put on a costume as a woman?
A costume.
Costume, transition, matter of fact, that was maybe triggering to you. I'll take it back. Sorry.
It's not triggering. No,
look,
I'm saying
I'll take it back. I'll
Cooley,
say it differently.
What are you wearing right now, Cooley?
I'll say it differently, actually.
No, this is actually great.
It'll make it very simple. We could go on. Keep that in mind, because I still want to answer to this question. A trans woman, is this a male with an XY chromosome that has the mindset and feelings, beliefs that they believe in their head that they are actually a woman? Yes or no?
I would say that a trans woman typically is somebody that is born either cisgender and then will go through a transition in order to better get rid of gender dysphoria that it is that they're experiencing.
Got it.
Now, you could call that feelings. I would say the same thing about religion, and you'll probably get offended if I say religion is your feelings.
No, not at all, man. I don't get offended at all. I have many religious debates. It's totally fine. Yeah. But let's go back a little bit. You said cis, right? You said cisgender, and you're using different terms. So I think you understand the terms that I'm using, right?
Yeah, I'd throw that same back at you. You're saying that cis is something that's made up. I think that you perfectly understand that. But in order to get your point across, you have to pretend like...
I'm just asking you to make it very clear, man. Is a trans woman, right? Would you say, I just need a yes or a no. Would you say it is a male with an XY chromosome that has feelings or beliefs that they are a woman?
Well, it really varies, and I know that sounds like you're.
Wait, that would vary?
Yeah, so you're going to say that this is like trying to confuse, or it's not being objective or getting on to the point. But again, gender is something that exists as a spectrum. This is not something that's going to look the same person to person. And if that's something that you don't care about, I would say, okay, great. I'm someone who's not particularly interested in the stars or the cosmos. That's why I don't really study things like astronomy. And for people who are like, I don't get the whole gender thing, I don't get what sex is or sexuality, that's fine. You don't have to get into the intricacies on the nuances of that, where you can't answer things on a yes or no, black and white level. Things are varying from person to person on experience. So for me, my question is throughout all of this.
You have a question? Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think is the impact, and what do you think you're trying to change by dismissing things like gender identity?
No, I don't. Once again, remember in the beginning of the conversation, man, I said I don't dismiss any of these things. I believe that, once again, it's a mental illness. I think that these are people that have a tendency to find a liking into certain things and to think that they are different. I have a son. So I'll answer your question. I have a son. He's very young, and my son, he truly, I'm not going to even hold you, bro. He think he a dinosaur. And he'd be running around. He think he a dinosaur. And that is totally fine. And you know what? I roar right back at him. Come on, little dinosaur. I play with my son like this, right? All of these things are very normal for people to have proclivities to things and find likings and be attracted to certain things. Totally fine. I'm not dismissing these things. I'm saying that when we start to affirm people's delusion, right? So when my son, he's only 1.5 right now. If my son is 5 years old and he's still thinking he's a dinosaur, gonna be pretty crazy. 10 years old, still thinking he's a dinosaur? That's a little crazy, homie. 20, thinking he's a dinosaur? He needs help. Do you understand what I'm saying? So a person, a human being that is born with an XX chromosome, which is a woman, a female, or an XY chromosome, which is a male or a man, they can have different proclivities and different, things that they are attracted to. That's fine. But if they are thinking that they are something opposite from what their biological and all the way down to their cellular structure tells them, then that is, my friend, is a delusion. So I'm not going to affirm someone's delusion. I would say, hey, this person needs help. And I won't give help to these people by saying you should go through reassignment surgery and cut off your penis. I won't say that. That's self-mutilation. I would say, listen, maybe I need to get you closer to faith, because the suffering that you're going through currently on this earth, you can't find meaning on earth with the suffering. So you need to find meaning from a divine. But anyways, go ahead. Sure.
All right, cool. So when you're talking about things like dinosaurs, or you're going to say something like a dog or a cat, or you're going to say an attack helicopter, as most people say, this is a way to obfuscate from what we're actually talking about, which is just gender. Gender at the end of the day.
Once again, I believe that it's a personality. You haven't even disputed that it's a personality.
That what, gender?
Yeah. You think that it's not a personality. You don't think that these people just have different personalities.
Absolutely not, because there's going to be women that are much more masculine and women that are much more feminine. That doesn't take away from the fact that they're still women. Like, you could have a different personality or a different presentation. That's not going to take away from the category that you were categorized as socially.
No, that's actually what I'm saying. I'm saying that a woman can have, there's many, I bring women on my podcast all the time. They be masculine. Like, God dang, who raised you? Raised without a father, raised with a single mother. Well, once again, influence creates thinking creates behaviors.
You'd say that female athletes probably are not good, right? Because women are supposed to be dainty. They're supposed to be subservient. Like, what would you say about a woman athlete?
Woman athletes is totally fine.
Would you say that's not masculine? The fact of competition and trying to dominate your opponents, you wouldn't say that that's masculine?
Well, you're missing the point of what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's personality. So a woman, we're not speaking about right or wrong. I'm speaking about what is. I'm not saying what ought. I'm not doing an ought claim.
But you are making normative statements when you say things like they didn't have a father or they weren't raised right. You're saying that there's a prescription to the reality that you're observing. And that's something that's moving from just descriptions. You're talking about normative.
Well, no, we just agreed before in the beginning, influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. So people can be socially constructed to believe in some nonsense, to believe that a man, XY chromosome, he can be socially constructed to believe that he is a girl, right? Due to his watching Disney, maybe you see two girls kissing, watching maybe, you know, all of these type of influence that they have, right? That's what I'm saying. As far as the stuff that you're talking, I think we're kind of speaking past one another. I'm not making an alt claim and saying that this is how things should be. I'm speaking objectively and saying this is how things are. There's men, women, male, female. You're talking about cis and all of these other things, talking about gender. I'm saying that those are personalities. So you have a male, you have a female. The personalities is what they were influenced. You think you just had your personality when you were born? No, you had to be influenced to have your personality. Am I right or am I wrong? You had to have experiences. You had to experience life to create your personality.
Would
correct?
you say that somebody born outside of society, let's just say they're born in the wilderness,
but answer that question first, real quick, man.
Do you think that they'd shave their beard?
Just answer this question real quick.
All right, sounds good.
Got it. Because I want you to kind of understand where I'm going, so we're not speaking past one another. And okay. You seem like a smart guy, so you can understand, you know, logic. 1 + 1 = 2. So I'm just saying that. Do you think that when people are influenced a certain way, so based off of their culture, based off of their upbringing, based off of all of these things, you're not born with the personality that you have now. You had to experience life, and your personality was created over time. Am I correct or wrong?
Yeah, that's what my whole point is too. If you're born
so
outside of
we
society,
agree on that.
then you won't have a personality, or you'd be very different than the person that you are today.
Got it. So now we're getting somewhere. You agree on that part. So all I'm saying that my stance on all of this, which is why I don't believe in gender, because you're saying that it's crazy. I'm saying that, well, no, you don't believe in gender either. You just proved it right there. You're not born having a personality. You have to experience life to have a personality. You are born with an XX chromosome or XY chromosome. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, like you stated in the beginning of the podcast, where it can be like 2 X's and 2 Y's, or a double X and a Y, all of these things. You stated those exceptions, right?
That is correct.
Got it. And guess what? I'm not dismissive of those exceptions. Most of the cases that happens in transgender reassignment surgeries and things like that aren't for those exceptions. There are for people that have been influenced to think that, oh, I don't feel happy in my own skin, in my own body, as a male, as a man, so I want to cut off my penis and transition.
Again, it's just always the fixation of the genitalia. To me, it's not something where even gender reassignment surgery is given to everybody. You're talking about rights. What do you mean, rights? Yeah, the discussion is about transgenderism rights. So it's only like 2 rights, bro. It's only the reassignment surgery and sports. No, the rights don't have to come from giving people the ability to get surgery or not. A majority of people that are trans aren't even going to go through some type of surgery. These are people who are going to socially transition. And there might be things like hormones that are added or different types of medicine. But the imagery that you keep bringing up of chopping off somebody's penis is something that is so outside of the norm of what it means to be trans identified. And that to me...
I'm sorry, go ahead. You can finish your thought. My bad. Didn't want to cut you off.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that to me is something that I think is where the disconnect comes for a lot of people, right? Is this graphic imagery that people are fear-mongering into thinking goes on from somebody who just wants to be referred to in a different way. I'm going to refer to you as a man. If we were at a restaurant and you were sitting at the table, I'd say, hey, I need to go sit with that guy over there in the green shirt. And I'm not calling you a guy because I asked earlier, hey, Cooley, can I see your cock just to make sure that you're a guy? That's not something that I need to do. I don't need to take a blood sample of you to know that you're a man. It's from the social presentation that you're giving to me. And all I'm asking, this is what trans rights are, is people that are dismissing that there is even a trans existence are taking away the right for that person to exist. You keep going that trans women are actually biological men that are trying to change and make people totally don't understand what gender and sex is and confuse the youth. And all I'm saying is, yo, man, she wanted to be called she. Like, can we just call her she? Like, that's all it is at the end of the day. That's the rights that I'm fighting for. Got
it. So how are we not trying to have these people exist? Are we trying to
no, again, I'm not saying that
What
I'm
do you
not
mean?
saying that you're trying to off them or be genocidal. That's not what I'm saying.
Got it. So
I'm
maybe
saying what you're saying is their existence isn't real. That's what it is. It's not existent. It's saying that there's no such thing as gender, or there's no such thing as a trans woman. Like, these are things, again, you can think about on your own. Like, people have the right to view however they want. But with someone like you, who's a platform,
yeah,
who's
once
saying
again,
this is actually harming
I
society.
actually
this is wrong.
confirmed what you said. I think we're speaking past one another again. That's why I want it to be a little bit more formal, where when I ask a question, you answer it. You ask me a question, I answer it. So we don't go on rants. Like, I went on some rants, you went on some rants, because we're like still speaking past one another. So no, that's not what I'm stating. Once again, I am stating that gender is just personalities. Personalities is infinite, man. How many people have different personalities and have a liking to certain things? That's infinite. As far as the biology, that's much different. So the biology is male and female, XY chromosome, XX chromosome. There are small exceptions when those chromosomes intertwine. You understand? And that is totally fine. There are small exceptions with people that come out with 2 feet or 2 hands or no arms and no legs or 1 eye. There's small exceptions for those. Do I say that we shouldn't believe that those people are real? No, they are 100% real. Do I believe that we shouldn't help out these people? Yes, we should help out these people. I'm just saying that we shouldn't fall into the delusion when a male, XY chromosome, is saying that he is a woman or a female. Also, we shouldn't fall into the delusion of the rights of kids going through reassignment surgery and cutting off.
There's nobody under the age of 18 that is going through reassignment surgery, my man.
I mean, there's a whole show on it. Her name was Jess. She started taking hormones and stuff like that. I'm speaking about everything that encompasses that. So the hormone replacement therapy and all of that stuff, well, the people that have this mindset, they take action on it. Influence creates thinking, thinking creates behavior. They were obviously influenced in a way to then have a thought, and then they take an action, and parents are taking action on these certain things too, as far as doing puberty blockers and things like that. That's the thing that I'm against. That's the topic of the discussion that I actually want to get to, which is the rights of it, and is it a net positive or a net negative for society? So let's just get some questions down so we can,
I want to first talk about exactly where you were going with the whole medicine that's given for gender affirming care. Specifically, I got like your claim was transgender kids are too young for gender affirming medical care. And many people aren't really sure what that term means. Gender affirming care really covers a wide spectrum of care, including supportive and affirming psychotherapy, reversible medications that may delay the onset of puberty, and or medical care designed to bring a person's bodily alignment with their internal sense of self. So there's no really one size fits all approach to gender affirming medicine. Not everyone's going to get the same thing. You keep going back to like cutting off someone's penis. That's not something that's going to apply to a majority of the people who are gender nonconforming. It's just going to be something social, like they're going to dress differently or be referred to differently. And again, for me, the problem here is the fixation on trying to mold this person to your liking instead of allowing like a family and doctors to really go through what makes sense for that individual.
Yeah, well, the family and doctors and most of the people that which I've did, there's research on it as well. Most of these individuals that perform these surgeries, they have satanic beliefs. But anyways, let me go ahead and ask you a few questions here.
Go ahead.
Let's get with you told me that, your motivation is, well, I kind of want to look out for the disenfranchised. Fair enough. But we're going to get to more of your motivation. Do you believe that there is a God or no?
I'm really agnostic, so I'm not going to claim that I understand everything objectively when it comes to how the universe was made. I definitely know that the Christian God does not exist. So if that's what we want to talk about specifically, we can go into that. But
okay. Another question for you. Are you gay?
Does that really pertain to the conversation?
Well, once again, I wanted to know what influenced you to think the way you think. So I think it does.
Interesting. Well, I would say that regardless of my sexual orientation, I think objective truth is what matters at the end of the day.
But you haven't been speaking anything objective.
What do you mean?
So
We
here's
have.
You haven't been. So here's the thing,
You
right?
said that, this is crazy to me, because if you're talking to a medical doctor or somebody that's scientific with objective, they would not say that all people are either men or women. They would say that most people, which is where we get into a bimodal distribution, that's how sex is. We have two modes where there's going to be an average aggregate of where people are going to lie, either in male or female, but there's still going to be externalities both in the middle and on the outside of that normal distribution graph.
Yeah, there are two sexes, and even with those two sexes, there are only two sexes. Even
Right.
with that, let's speak about it, right? So even when the people that have, like a male or the female would have an extra chromosome or something like that, because that's what we're speaking about. When it's like 0.1%, is a very small percent of the population overall. The other thing is when they have an extra chromosome, it's still one or the other, meaning that they can give birth, right? Meaning that if they have a womb and they can give birth, or they have the seed, they have semen and they can impregnate a woman. It's never where they can do both, where the person, right, has a womb and has semen, meaning that a vagina and a womb and has semen, where they can nut in someone, get someone pregnant, and still impregnate themselves and have someone impregnate themselves. That's not the case. So I state my point again, which is facts, objectively proven. Male and female. There's not multiple sexes and all of these other things. There are only two sexes. So find me a study where there's a human being that can nut in someone, get a woman pregnant, and as well get pregnant themselves.
That's not something that's required in order to have
Wait.
categories.
Is that the case? That's
Would you say
checkmate,
that
brother.
a woman,
There's two
do you
sexes.
say that somebody
There's two
that's born
sexes.
without a womb but still has XX, is that a man because they don't have a womb?
Someone that's born without a womb that doesn't have and has two X's, that's totally fine. They could be born without a womb. That's still an exception to the rule. That's still
still a woman.
Female. No, that's still a female.
Okay,
yes, that's still a female.
What about a man who
sure.
doesn't have a connection from testicles to their shaft?
All of that. He can have all of that. Though that's an exception. He has an
right?
XY. Does he have an XY? He's a man.
Oh, gotcha.
He's a man.
What about
yes.
someone with XXY who has a vagina?
Okay, XXY. Can they get pregnant?
Yeah. I'm asking you.
Can they get pregnant?
But
There's
you're
a lot
the
of
arbiter.
cases where they can't get pregnant.
But you're claiming to be the arbiter, Cooley,
No.
of what is a man or a woman.
Can
so I'm
they get
asking
pregnant?
you know all. Is this a woman?
I'm actually, you have to defend your point, buddy. Can they get pregnant?
My point is admitting humility that there are multiple things that can
Time
be
out.
true at once.
Can that person get pregnant?
This is a fictitious person that came to my mind. Yes, sure.
Okay, so a person that has an XX chromosome with a vagina can get pregnant?
It's an XY. We're missing the analogy already.
Okay,
Somebody that's born with
An
XY,
XY chromosome
that has a vagina. Yeah.
Vagina, can it get
They
pregnant?
can't get pregnant, no.
Okay, exactly. My point proven. Like I stated before,
asking-
there are only two sexes. You can either, you have an XY chromosome or you have an XX chromosome, right? That's what it is. Now, it can
so you said
interchange.
that
There can
person
be
has
more.
a vagina and can't get pregnant, so it's
Once
obviously
again,
a man? Yo,
there
chat,
can-
did you hear this?
there
This
can
guy
be
said people
more-
with vaginas are men. This guy's trans affirming. That's crazy.
Definitely didn't say that at all. You're just,
Yeah, you just did. I
okay,
said
let's
that if someone
rewind the tape
born
back.
with an XY, they have a vagina.
XY chromosome.
You asked me, are they pregnant? I said they can't get pregnant. You said checkmate. There we go. It's a man. That's crazy. I just said they
checkmate.
have a
They
vagina.
can't get pregnant. No, you're confusing what I'm saying, brother. Once again, I said they can't get pregnant, right? So if
Well,
there
I'm
are
asking
XY, bro, once again, before in the beginning of the podcast, you have a hard time understanding me, and I speak very slow, man.
Go ahead.
I speak super slow. I'm not even a fast talker like all of these other debaters. But XY chromosome with a vagina, you just stated that they can't get pregnant. Okay, got it. I'm saying yes. You're just proving my point that it's still only two sexes. Someone that can get pregnant, someone that can't get pregnant. And then there are exceptions to the rules where if they have different or an extra chromosome or one of the genitalia is out of place, they either can get pregnant or can't get pregnant. But there's never a case, right? Never a case. You can't find me a study where there is an XX chromosome, a man that can nut in someone, but he also has a womb, or even he has another chromosome, but he also has a womb as well, and he can get someone else pregnant and get pregnant himself. That's not a case. So we're always, if we go to the root of it, we're still looking at two sexes. Like I said, gender is just personalities. There is sex, male and female. There's an infinite amount of personalities where human beings can have a proclivity to have a liking to certain things, because influence creates thinking and thinking creates behavior. So someone with your ideology can socially construct someone to believe in some nonsense that, oh, you're born a man, XY chromosome. Well, you know what? Oh, you feel like you're a girl? You want to be a woman? Sure. You would affirm that and say, I'll call you she. I'll call you Caitlin. Someone on my end would be like, okay, if you're going to address a certain way, I'll actually answer the question that you had me before. You had a question. I do a podcast. I bring on girls, right? Some of these chicks ain't gonna hold you. They be looking a little crazy. Gotta ask. I tell my recruiters, ask if they are born a man, born a male, or born a female. You get what I'm saying? And the only reason why I have to ask that is people with your ideology that's been influencing the masses to believe in delusion land. So then it makes the normal people have to try to reaffirm who someone is. Like, well, what are you? This nonsense wasn't happening before. It was very simple. We lived an easy life. Your ideology creates confusion, and it manipulates the youth, and it manipulates the society. So this conversation is about, is transgenderism a net positive or a net negative for society? It's a net negative. You're creating confusion. Explain to me how you're not creating confusion, switching up the languages and stuff like that. Everything we've been speaking about, you've been trying to switch up the language. Cisgender, no one cares about none of that. And you know that.
Typical conservative snowflakes freaking out, yelling right now in a civil conversation. This is civil, man. You just spazzed out, my guy.
No. This is. Welcome to No Fugazee, man. This is normal. Yeah. Welcome to the show. Yeah.
No worries.
All right, cool. I'll leave it to you. You could challenge my thoughts now. Go ahead and ask me some questions.
Yeah, I just think it's really important to recognize again that this is not a new phenomenon. I totally understand how it can seem that way, especially for people who aren't interested in studying gender or are interested in studying sex. So that's fine, man. You can totally.
Well, you're still saying it's new.
Something that's new.
How? No. When did it come about? Again, when did people start promoting this?
Cultures. We can go to the Navajos in North America and talk about the Nahili. We can go to the Zuni culture in North America and talk about the Inihama. And we can go to various African tribes that have existed for thousands of years that have had different roles when it comes to how people identify on a gender category. I get that you're saying that nowadays, maybe after colonialism or after imperialism, there will be people that were westernized into Christianity that might think, hey, I wasn't told this by my pastor, and I only know things that my pastor tells me. That's going to seem a little bit weird. Sure, that can happen in those cultures now. But again, this is an evolution. This is something that looks different. In my debate with Charlie Kirk, I don't know if you watched that, but he brought up the Mayans, and he said, I don't care if the Mayans had multiple genders that were expressed. He admitted that these are cultures that still had different ways in which they categorize people on the basis of gender. So this is just not something that's new. But I don't want to speak too much on that point because it seems like we'll go in circles.
Personalities have never been new. So if you're speaking about personalities again, that's never been new. It's always been a little femboy or a masculine woman. There's always been people that have certain proclivities to find a liking into ducks and to watermelons. There's people that have sex with animals. There's people that do weird things.
Okay, we're getting so off of this. I thought it was my time to have the floor, my guy.
I'm just saying, go ahead. Ask a question. Real quick. My bad, Mason. Yeah. Everyone that's tuned in on Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and close down a Facebook stream now. So come on over to YouTube. That's No Fugazee Podcast on YouTube. Let me go ahead and close this out real quick, Mason, and then I'll let you get to your question. 1 second.
Do your thing. And while he's doing that, everyone in the chat, if you want to look it up, go ahead and look up the Navajo region and different gender ideologies. There are ways in order to see how people were categorized before an American colloquial sense. Sorry, go ahead.
We can go to Africa right now. We can look at the history in Africa and all of these things right now.
Okay.
The norm, right, will be people that think like me. The abnorm would be people that think like you. As I said, personalities are infinite, buddy.
But these aren't personalities. These are genders. If we go to West Africa,
gender is a personality.
Igbo. If you go to Nuba in North Africa, You could go to the Nuer people in East Africa. I don't want to make this a trivia class where we're going over a bunch of different
Once
things,
again, these are
people
personalities.
in the chat have the opportunity to look this up. But
and
you can't just deny it and say it doesn't exist. Again,
no
you
one
can say,
said deny.
I don't know about this.
Once again, yo, you putting words in my mouth. I've never said people who have different personalities.
It's not
because that's what I believe.
Genders.
It's a personality. I already walked you through the influence craze, thinking craze behavior, and proved to
slogan,
you.
Man. That would be good on a shirt. You need to make it a t-shirt.
You actually said, yes, I agree with that. So it proved to you that it's a personality. I asked you a question. I said, were you born with the personality that you currently have right now, or did you have to experience life based off what your five senses, seeing, touching, smelling, tasting, and hearing, absorbed, and then you found the liking to certain things? You said, yes. I had to, my personality I wasn't born with, it happened over time. So I'm just saying that people that find a liking, a man that finds a liking to another man, a woman that wants to be a man, or a man that wants to be a woman, these are personalities. It's not their biology. We went through the biology argument already.
Also, sorry to cut you off real quick, but I got to
You got a hard out at 10, right?
Yeah. I just want
Okay. Yeah, no, I know. I got you. Chat, we got about a half an hour left, man. He got a hard out at 10. No Diddy, because that could sound weird to some of the people that don't watch debates, but that just means he got to leave. All right, so question for you, bro. Do you think trans people suffer from mental illness?
I think it'd be like what you define as mental illness. So for the past 4 decades, we've understood that gender dysphoria as something that was a mental illness. And since then, we've understood that understanding gender identity is not something that should be categorized as something that's an illness. Rather, it's something that everybody does. It's just other people do it a different way. So you have your own gender identity, whether or not you choose to acknowledge that, but it's the reason why you grow out your beard. It's the reason why you want to work out. It's the reason why you're wearing the shirt that you're wearing right now. It's because that's the gender identity that you're choosing to perform. And it doesn't feel like something that's intentional, right? I'm not waking up every day oh, can't wait to be a man today. I'm going to think about being a man. But it's something that is subconscious. It's something that is on a molecular level that you're not choosing to do each and every minute of the day.
Got it. So do you think that trans people suffer from a mental illness?
Again, no. Like I said,
okay, so you think that it's no. Got it. All right, cool. So another question then. So someone that wants to take puberty, someone that was born away, right? Their biology. And just for this hypothetical, we're going to keep it at this. So it's an XY chromosome. It's a man, right? And he was born this way. But at 5 years old, he found the liking to play with girls' toys and found the liking to dress as a girl. And that liking, because he was influenced based off his five senses, what he've absorbed in, based off culture and everything else in his situation, his environment, he found the liking to be more attracted to the things that women do. And he's more flamboyant and more feminine than most men. And, he says, I got this thing down here. I have a liking to be just like women. I want to cut this thing off. Do you think that that's a mental illness? Yes or no?
I think that's
want to cut a part of your body off.
I think that the way that you're construing it is with specific political purposes, which is, again, to dismiss the idea.
No, not at all. It's this person just has a natural they have a proclivity to want to be a woman, but he has an XY chromosome.
I think it's very clear that would need introspection. It would need to not only be talked about with other people besides just your own self. It should also be talked about with a mental health professional and people that actually understand the human psyche. So that's what I would say. It's not like people are just I want to cut this off. Let me do that. And people are thinking that's weird. You do the same thing. If I tried to cut off my arm that. But
you would say weird. That he needs help, right?
I would say that you need to have a conversation with people who are better able to understand how to walk through it with
Which means he needs help, right?
Nobody's thinking, I just want to cut this thing off, man. It's understanding
who said no one's thinking that based off this hypothetical? A hypothetical is to test your logic, right? So based off this hypothetical, if he wanted to self-mutilate and cut off his penis, and based off what you just said, it seems like you're saying that he needs help.
I would say that does not pertain to the conversation. In that scenario, yes, that person needs help.
Okay, so this person does... Wait, you said this doesn't happen?
No, that is not the way that people go about gender identity, is thinking I want to mutilate myself. But in your example, yes, that person needs help if they just want to mutilate themselves. Absolutely.
No. Once again, that's why I put all that extra stuff in it.
Yeah.
They don't just want to mutilate them, like cut off their penis. Once again, they found the liking to more of the woman's way of things, attracted to what the girl does, want to dress like a girl, want to play with Barbies. And they kind of, found this liking out of maybe 5 years old, right? And it kind of stayed with them. So it isn't just cutting off their wang isn't the only thing they wanted to do.
But
they actually truly, let me finish. They actually truly feel and believe that they are a woman. Right? So they want to go through the process with cutting this off. Is that a mental illness?
The reason why you're ending it with that specific imagery is to attribute the negative connotation to people that are trans, which that does not happen is what I was trying to refer to.
Well, guess what? Listen, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen often, right? But it does happen. This entire conversation, we're speaking about the exception. Right? So why are you trying to run from this exception when you wasn't trying to run from all of those other exceptions?
I'm not trying to run.
Now stick to this. You're trying to run from this exception.
No, I'm talking in this show. I'm talking in this show because I see the audience is going to be people who are already apprehensive to trans people. So their idea
no one's apprehensive to trans people. There's no such thing as transphobia or any of that stuff. No one is scared. You know what a phobia is? No one is scared of someone that believes that they are a man.
Cooley,
so let's get to the question real quick.
Please.
Mason, I need you to answer this question though, because you're running from it.
I'm ready, Cooley. I'm not running from anything. I'm trying to talk.
I got you, but I mean, you're not answering the question.
I am answering
the question. Because it was a contradiction. I asked you the question, do trans people suffer from a mental illness? You said no. Now I gave you a hypothetical. A person that truly believes and thinks that he's a male, XY chromosome, but he truly believes and thinks that he is a woman, and he finds a liking to all of the womanly ways, right? And he actually wants to be a woman. If he comes to the conclusion that he wants to cut off his penis, does he need help or not?
That person needs help. Now I have a question for you.
Real quick, because it was a contradiction. I want you to understand that you contradicted yourself. My question before was, do you think trans people suffer from mental illness? You said no. Then I gave you a hypothetical of literally a male with an XY chromosome wanting to be a woman. He wants to cut off his penis. I asked you, does he need help? You said yes. He needs help for his mental. Why would he need help if it's not a mental illness? You are proving my point that it is a mental illness. This is what I want you to understand. So if you like that clip and you want to watch more, click right here. But if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.